right, so today you saw me earlier. I met with Michael. He is a soldier in the Montana Army National Guard, and he struggles with his weight because he has a professional job that's stressful, and he also has 2 young children at home. After meeting with him, before I met with him actually, I came up with some questions, and I'm going to talk about them now. The questions I asked him were what his goal was, first off, so I could understand that goal better, how long he's been thinking about getting a coach, the disadvantages of the status quo that he's currently in, and also how important this goal was to him on a scale of 1 to 10. The reason I asked those questions were to utilize support for action to determine what stage of change that he was actually in, the level of efficiency, and his why. If I understood these 3 things, it would help me decide where to start to coach the client most appropriately. Also, having the client share the disadvantages and discontent they are currently experiencing with the status quo will actually increase his motivation for change. Just hearing themselves say it actually makes it real. The second question that I decided to ask the client was, I reminded him that he said he had overcome his weight loss issues that he had in the past, and asked him on a scale of 1 to 10 how confident he was that he was going to actually be able to overcome those again. What strengths did he use last time? And if he wasn't very confident, what was stopping him from being so confident? And this will help identify how he overcame issues in the past to remind him of how strong he is, and also increase his motivation by reinforcing his confidence. He actually stated that he could do it, he just needed to make a decision to do so. We wanted to get together and get creative about setting goals and planning for expected roadblocks. And listening to him, hopefully, I would hear him say that he could do it and he was going to prioritize it now. I asked him, the third question was, tell me about all the things that you've tried that have not worked, and so we can actually look at the things you haven't tried yet. The client sounds like he knows what actually worked for him in the past. Sounds like he's in the middle of a crazy schedule change with school and work, and it sounds like he just needs some creative ideas to have better time management. I asked him if the weight control issues actually run in his family to identify if there were things that were out of the client's control. I also asked him about support in his goals, if he has a supportive wife or a supportive work environment, which we know is super important in actually accomplishing the goals. I also asked him what else he thought might be contributing to his actual weight loss challenges besides the actual eating out so much. I wanted to identify his daily struggles, or just how often he was eating out, so that we can actually hopefully reduce that together with some creative ideas. I wanted to encourage him to do more gray thinking instead of black or white. Like, never, just don't stop eating out altogether, and don't start eating healthy 100%, but how to find a happy balance with that. I also decided to ask the client if he exercised on a regular basis and what kind of things he likes to do. And the reason for that is to identify that maybe he's already doing some things that are actually benefiting his goal. And these are also strengths that he has to remind him and build his confidence. I didn't even have to ask him. He suggested that he doesn't sleep very well, partly because of his young daughter, but also because of possible sleep apnea that he had tested a couple of years ago based on information from his wife. I also asked him if he had any medical issues or allergies to food that he might think would be contributing. It's been a while since he had a physical, so he said he didn't have any that he knew of. I also reminded the client by coming to the appointment today that it actually told me that he was ready for this weight loss goal, wellness goal that he has had. And I asked him to rate between 1 and 10 how ready he was to get started. And it sounded to me like just coming up with some creative ideas that he is literally ready to start today. Complimented him on his first step, again, so that we can get over this. I also wanted to identify if there was any ambivalence in his goal setting, if he had anything that he was going back and forth on. It didn't sound like he did in his meeting. I also summarized everything so that the client could tell me if I was on the right track, or if there was anything I forgot, or anything that they wanted to add to it. I also asked him, again, how ready he was, which determines where we start off in this process of coaching.